All right, so we will declare the meeting of the Bakersfield Planning Commission open at 7:07 PM. And are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Just that thing we just talked about, talking about membership or.
All right, so we want to add a discussion of membership, and I think we should put that after we have our hearings.
That's fine.
So maybe we could do that like after number 8, make it a new number 9. Is that okay?
All good.
So that would be new number 9 is discussion of membership. Any other? Oh, I would like to also talk about the municipal planning grant. So I'll just add that as another in the same item. So make it two things. Because we did have a meeting with select board last week.
Okay.
So we can talk about that. Any other adjustments? Okay, so new number 9, that makes next meeting 10 and adjournment 11. And so we have first our introductions of the planning commission.
Ken Carter.
And actually, we got to make sure we turn on the mic for the recording. And Bill Irwin.
Heather Jewett.
Very good, thank you. So we have 3 people for our normal 5. We really only have 3, so we have a full quorum. We could have actually done it with just 2 of us, so that's interesting. Hadn't thought of that. But we just had elections, so we've had a reduction in our number for our planning commission. And the next hearing is for the Heinlein subdivision. Is there anybody here to speak to that? Okay. Great. And you're Mr. Jablonski? Jablonski. Very good. Thank you, sir, for coming back, and you're welcome. Yeah, we're going to do that next, so you can hang tight here. But before you do, you can hand out some things, but you kind of have to talk into the mic there because it's recorded and it might not pick you up.
Yes. I'll speak loudly, honestly.
Good.
So as requested, I have Mylar from Brian Westcomb to bring that to the meeting tonight, and I also do have 2 paper copies.
Okay.
One will go to Granger, and he can hold the other one for recording.
Great.
But for now, if you want to use that as the rooms and review again,
Okay.
haven't made any changes from the last time, and has been set.
So just for the record, because this is the first full hearing on this, perhaps you could just explain the entire project.
Okay. So we had kind of like a preliminary sketch hearing, so you guys could be familiarized with the project last month. We're back here again. It's a 2-lot subdivision coming in under the fixed area allocation regulation that you guys have for the reduced lot acreage, and Granger here is going to need to do a deed restriction for that, which we've discussed at length. And then the remaining, he's currently sugaring season. He's a sugar, that's what he does, and that's what it's going to stay as.
Okay. So this is Witch Cat Road near Page, and you've got a drawing of the large footprint at the top right, and then you have a drawing of the fixed area allocation lot 2 within what is lot 1. And focusing in on that lot 2. And you have the road frontage, and that appears to be. Does anybody see the actual road?
Is that the core distance? Is that the frontage there?
So it would be the arc distance.
Okay.
The road's on a bit of a curve, so it would be the arc distance.
Arc length.
So the arc length is okay, so let me just make sure.
It has appropriate frontage, setbacks, size, all that sort of thing. It's that regulation. The only kind of variance, I guess you would say, it's kind of comes under the fixed area allocation with the reduction in lot size.
So it's
Well, that's
not
a
a, it's not a
lot.
variance because it's allowed by bylaws, right?
Which would go up to 2 acres if we're sub that.
Yeah,
Good, good, okay. So we have good frontage and it's 2 acres or less. Does it have the lot size?
1.27 there, kind of right in the center of the.
Yep, okay, got it, 1.27. You've
Yes.
got, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Myself as a designer, we've come up with the backup area designation as required by the state, and I'm preparing to submit that application to the state as well, so that will also be
For the backup.
a permit that will come to the town for recording.
So that is the wastewater
Yes,
permit?
that would be the state side.
That doesn't need to be on the Mylar
State,
or the backup,
it is shown,
on the Mylar? Oh, that's for the green.
that's the green, yeah.
Oh, there's the existing one.
And then when that permit is received back from the state,
Oh.
that will go to the town for recording as well.
Okay, good, good.
So that's the backup. Where's the existing?
The existing is approximately just out back of the house,
The oval there.
yes.
Okay, okay, so the backup would actually be on the fixed area allocation.
It'd also be within the lot, yes.
So it would be used by what is lot 1 if necessary.
If ever necessary, they would
Okay.
have to go get a permit to design, get the whole design and install that.
Would that be some sort of deed? Would that be recorded in the deed for lot 2?
That's spelled out in the wastewater permit, so that permit that we're going to be acquiring, it spells out that they need to go do those things, should their system ever fail.
Right. The reason I bring up the deed is that when you separate out lot 2, it is obviously a separate property at that point in time. And lot 1 would have to have some sort of legal document saying that they could use that replacement mound area if necessary that is on somebody else's property.
So, just hypothetically,
Yeah,
Rangers sold the house with the lot,
right,
and that mound area information is within that lot.
yeah,
It's on their land now, they have a permit. If their system fails currently, they would go contact a designer or myself or some other designer to get the design to install that system. They'd have to get that approval from the state. Does that make sense?
It's currently contained on that new law that's being created, so it's.
Currently, under the state regulations, we only have to designate an area that meets the regulations currently, should they.
yeah. I thought it was supposed to be designated on the lot that was being subdivided out of.
I can
In other
designate it.
words, is that right? Okay.
I put it on the same lot because it
Yeah.
makes more sense. And then we drew the lot around the system area designation,
Right.
so that way we don't have excess easements created.
Right. How do you understand that lot, that backup wastewater treatment when you subdivide? I thought it was for this property, lot
And I
1,
can
not
explain
for
the
lot
state
2.
regulations.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, it may be useful. Let me,
I don't think they need septic plan for the lot that hasn't, not being developed yet, you know, because, you know, this new lot, the Sugar Bush. Right now isn't have a plan for any development, so.
I'm kind of wondering why they would need a backup if they already have an existing leach field.
That's the state requirement.
Ah,
Reduce the lot size of the property on it. Without meeting certain exemptions that I could go into.
yeah,
You need to designate a backup area. Standard procedure for subdivisions.
okay,
I thought too. but-
okay, good. As long as you understand it that way, I'm glad, because. All right, so are there any other questions or comments about this?
Just this microphone on.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, it's the green light.
Is it now?
Is it green?
It's green now.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Maybe
I've been
there's
speaking loud, so hopefully everybody's been
Yeah,
hearing you.
I just have a question about the land across the road there. What's the name of that owner? You know? Yeah, it's the DRCEGE. That's someone's name or?
sounds like a new government
I
authority.
don't know how to pronounce that. I could take a guess.
It's probably DeRosa.
DROOE. Okay, good. I was just making sure that wasn't a typo, right?
there's the one on the other side here,
Were you, what side are you looking?
this one here.
So that's all
So
lot
everything
one.
around the lot we're subdividing is
Mhm.
owned by Mr. Heinlein.
Okay, who's his neighbor? Oh, cause like, did you notify everybody, I'm assuming?
We have gone through the notification process. Yes,
Okay.
we did that at length with Mr. Weston.
Do you know who the neighbor is right here?
That would also be Mr. Heinlein.
Oh, so he owns.
He also.
So if you
owns
look at the
the
map up
house.
here, see how lot two is completely surrounded by lot one.
Oh, okay.
But he's talking about lot.
Oh, okay.
To the south directly is also Mr. Heinlein.
Cause I have a relative down there and I just wanna make sure I don't have to recuse myself.
So technically, Mr. Heinlein is the abutter to the south, if that answers that question.
Okay. Yep. I just wanna make sure.
And is is there anyone else here for this particular? Oh, so your neighbor in what direction? Well,
You got any?
You have to, if you wanna.
let me just ask him, do you have any questions or comments at this point in time?
Being closed, what's going on, I don't want to know.
Oh,
Okay, so we should share that with you then.
you can look at this one.
Yeah, why don't you come on up? Ken will share it with you. So where is your property, sir?
This is his lot here, the big lot. He lives here north of him. So he's proposing to carve a 1.27 acre lot right there. He doesn't have a big one for that, but in our bylaws, we have this area allocation option where you can make smaller lots. With some restrictions, you know, something else again after a number of years.
Has to be for a relative, right?
I don't think so.
The fixed lot allocation doesn't require that it be for a relative?
No, I don't think so. I mean, almost always has been,
Yeah.
but I don't think it.
Doesn't have to be, okay.
Yeah. Um,
Is that you, Brian?
so fixed area application is on page 62.
For some reason, I thought it was only if you're a relative.
No. Like I said, it's just usually is.
But it has to be like a square footage.
So you can read it, 7.5.
This is something that's. You know, like that.
So, Ken, can we start a paper and what is your name, sir? Nate Reed? And, how do you spell that? Natereid? REE, thank you. And you have property that is where relative to this? Is it to the north of lot one? Okay, thank you. And did you have any questions or comments after Ken shared with you? Thank you. So what we're doing now is we're circulating a paper. You need a pen? Coming at you. And it's just sharp on one end.
That's the end I caught.
And then I want it recorded that it landed in a very safe way. So we're sending around a place for everybody to put your name and signature, if you don't mind, because you're attending a public hearing. And we were just looking at the zoning bylaws for a fixed area allocation that describes that it's no more than 2 acres. It's got to meet all of the requirements of a minor subdivision, which is in section 7.2. And the standards in section 7.4. And I think we kind of went over that when you were here for the informational meeting.
Yes.
It was not a hearing because it was not warned. It was an informational meeting. And as is customary from your firm that you work for, it is to be represented on the final plat that we will consider tonight. And there's a large number of requirements in table 7.1 that have to be met in a final plan, which is what this is. So obviously, you've got some sort of application form in with the zoning administrator. A fee has been paid.
Yes, sir.
And we have the location map with a title block and plan title, location description, site address, name of landowners, name of developer, and client, if different than the landowner. Is this all
It's landowner and applicant.
great? Okay. And then North Arrow is there. The date of preparation is in
In the title block, sir.
right here.
Also signed and dated.
Very good. Yep, 11/5, and then good, thank you. 25th February. The area of land, relevant planning and zoning, which is up in the top box up here, which we always appreciate. Contour lines have been provided. Just moving on, appreciate your patience in doing this. Lot and tract identification. So we have lot 1 and lot 2 indicated here. The property boundary signed and stamped here. We've got adjacent property owners have been notified. So verifying that has been done here. Existing features. So the only features you see, there's a existing leach field. There's a house that's there
Yes, sir.
currently.
Yes, that is the house.
And then this is the landowner house.
He doesn't reside there. He
Mhm.
he purchased the house.
Mm.
How many months ago was that? Ranger? A little over a year ago.
Okay.
And because it abuts him, he purchased that land and he's sugaring the land that abuts him.
And then the rest is also your land. Okay, good. Thank you, sir. And then we've also,
The boulder on there.
I did show that boulder. It's hard to miss from the road. Yeah.
oh,
So if anybody ever
Well,
goes
let's do
looking for the
miss it when
pins
you're
and
on
they
the
see the
road.
map, they'll see the boulder and then they'll know where to look.
stone walls and pins and drilled well and overhead wires. So that's the electric
Mhm.
driveway. All right, so looks good there. The proposed project is indicated. Mitigation measures, those are unnecessary as far as I can tell. There's no wetlands that need to be mitigated. Offsite improvements are unnecessary as far as I can tell. And I'm just going through this. If anybody has questions or objections to my statements, please let me know. Are there any public right-of-way or easements?
Not that we're aware of.
Very good. And the utility plan is as it's depicted, there's no additional
As
utilities?
the house is already served.
Erosion sediment control, based on the contour lines, that looks unnecessary. And
We're
I
not
assume it's-
proposing any construction.
Yeah, it's part of the evaluation by DEC if necessary. Department of Environmental Conservation. Stormwater management, they would look at that as well. And from my look at this, compared to other projects I've looked at, as well as in Franklin and Grand Isle, this looks like it's not going to need any sort of stormwater management. Landscaping plan is, this is not new construction. No new road and bike pedestrian lighting. Garbage collection is already taken care of if necessary or if desirable. Elevations, transportation impact study, I don't think that's necessary. Master plan is not necessary. Legal documents, modification, engineer certificate is here. Looks good to me. Do you have any?
No, we accept this
Good.
stereo allegation.
Okay, so motion by Ken.
Is this the final? Are you moving it for,
Yes.
to get the final?
Yep.
I second.
Second. All right, any further discussion?
Mhm.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
I,
Anybody opposed? I think I heard three ayes, so it passes unanimously 3-0.
If I may, the paper copies, I was just gonna give them to Mr. Heinlein.
Sure.
And then. you want to have, please?
At some point tonight, I will get a Sharpie and sign this, and then we will turn this over to the clerk. Once we leave that down there, that end. Whoa. Thank you, sir. No, there was no throw. It was a slide. All right. So if all right, you're welcome.
Is Mr. Richards number 2 on the
Yeah.
docket?
Correct.
Okay, then I will stay in my seat.
Great, great. And we could have moved it for convenience.
Hello.
Nice to meet all you guys.
Yeah.
1142 Witch Capital.
Hey,
Nice to meet
you too. Thanks.
Morning.
Yeah, yeah. They're not all as exciting as this.
We the neighbor too? Huh?
He, I believe, was with Nate Reed.
Okay, so this is now the Richards D subdivision hearing. And Mr. Jablonski is speaking to this too.
Yes, sir. So I do have some supplementation for you guys again.
Okay,
There are minor changes from this time. That we will hear. Call it
Last month.
informational.
yeah, we had to call it that because it was not warned.
We do have some supplementation for public, if anybody else wants to see.
Is anyone here for
Anybody here for the Richards D subdivision? We have an extra map if somebody would like to look at that.
no?
Okay,
I thought there might be more interest in that one than the other one, honestly. So yeah, I do have the Mylar here as well, so I'll present that to the town. I'm just gonna use it for my own reference now. From the informational hearing, there were some comments and notes that I took note of those, took those recommendations into consideration, applied them as necessary. We do have lot 12, 3.4 plus or minus acres with the house, well, mound system proposed, permitted already. Permit has been completed and submitted to the town for recording. There is an easement to access lot 13 in the back, 7.5 plus or minus acres. Again, well, house, mound permitted with the state. As suggested from the board here tonight, I tried to contact the fire chief with no success. I left messages, couldn't get a hold of him. So I did what we did in a previous project for Mr. Parent, if you guys remember a few years ago, the large subdivision plan that we
Mhm.
had done. So for that, we had a 35 radius turnaround cul-de-sac. That was sufficient for the fire chief. I have illustrated that same dimension will fit, should that be the requirement again for this lot. So if necessary, there is sufficient area for that to be constructed for the back lot. Because the question was, is it over 400 feet? It was, he needed to turn around. I had a pull off. You guys thought that may not be sufficient and to check with the fire chief, but I was unsuccessful in getting a hold of him. So.
Yeah, he's a
this is what we've done in
sugarer
the
too.
past, And this was what was approved in the past.
Right, so that's turnaround is gonna be on that lot, that driveway on.
The end of
Lot
paradise.
13,
Yes,
but you don't have it diagrammed yet, or?
it is diagrammed. Yes,
Oh.
it's also annotated.
It's like a
R
cul-de-sac.
Yeah, R equals 35, turn around and pull off. Not to the north, maybe where you're looking, but yeah, it's another same size cul-de-sac turnaround if necessary for fire trucks to be able to turn around.
And that's gonna be actually on lot 13?
That is on lot 13.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I don't see that on this map that I'm looking at. but-
Okay, the Mylar might be
A little bit easier, more detailed, yeah.
Let's just kind of around, this is the proposed driveway. Comes in from the existing road, that circle there, the R equals
That's
35.
and then this driveway
Yes,
continues.
and then the road just continues to pass.
Oh, wow, what a challenging color to read.
That with the color of the.
That would be better in black. Or dark green or something.
Trying to distinct that from the existing.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Right.
So Heather, I don't know if you want to come over here and look at this Mylar print of
So
it.
this is the
It's hard to
drive-
see on the
driveway
paper.
comes Here, and then it's got this.
Also shown-
cul-de-sac, basically.
Oh, that's where the cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
is.
so this is the original at the end of Paradise, but they're now developing this lot. And in order to access this lot, there's a extension of the driveway that's going in there. And then at the end of that, there will be a 35-foot radius, essentially, like a cul-de-sac that is kind of at the start of the driveway. I
Yeah,
assume that
and
that's
I
the
mean,
driveway that goes to the house
This
from
is,
that point.
this is an area that's available to be able to do this if necessary, to the discretion of the town road foreman or the fire chief. If they say, well, you don't actually need it to be that big or whatever, fine. Or they're gonna do a hammerhead instead, fine. I'm just illustrating that it's possible
That's
to
where-
meet your guys'
Where it can
regulations.
go.
Yes,
So, you're saying it's where it could go. Are you committing to putting it in?
that is my suggestion. I am not a contractor. I'm not an excavator operator. I'm showing on the plan that he can meet your regulations.
Okay,
Should he choose to follow this plan, he can also meet the regulations. If he chooses to do something differently and doesn't meet the regulations, that's on that. Whoever decides to build it. You know what I mean?
When they apply for that building permit, will that be something that they'll be aware of, or?
Well, when they apply for the building permit, they should know that they need to meet the town requirements, whoever's doing the development. They should check with the zoning administrator for any said particular requirements.
let me
Did
ask.
they apply for a
okay.
building permit? yet? So you're aware of this now, right? Come on, hang around.
So, I don't know what the rules are. Is there any way that before we sign this tonight, you could draw over the top of this very faint orange line to show that extension of the driveway to the house with the 35-foot turnaround and pull off? So that it does not get lost to obscurity for future development, because this drawing is really the only way we have of memorializing this,
Mhm.
other than in
It
our,
is annotated, proposed gravel drive, turn around and pull off, radius 35.
yeah, it's in black ink there, and that's good. So that does help.
Yep. I hear what you're saying though, with the color.
Yeah,
I do hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can.
I don't know either. I mean, so Mr. Jarvis is here. You're a longtime expert in this field.
It's his brother.
That's Mr. Jarvis.
Okay,
Yeah. I'm not sure, he would like that for me to draw over the Mylar. What I can do is just revise it to remove the ortho imagery. So that way it sticks out.
you mean to remove the background
The
that is
background color.
currently kind of a tan?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's why it doesn't stand out is that
It's
the
the background
ortho
color.
imagery.
Yep.
That shade of brown hides the orange lines. And then the orange lines are not actually depicted in the legend either.
No, it's labeled as a proposed gravel
Yeah.
drive. So we can label things in
And the reason I'm being
legend
kind
and
of
everything.
pushy about this is that I feel disappointed that Chief Hull hasn't had an opportunity to look at this. I'm an officer on the fire department too,
Okay.
so I feel fairly reasonable assurance that if he were to look at this, he would be glad to have this indicated.
Mhm.
But I think he would probably also say, I can't hardly see that.
Right.
And that's why I'm kind of saying that
So
in his absence.
in kind of an answer to that, we have a easement shown, which is pretty easy to see, I would say, with the pink dash lines. So they can build their driveway anywhere within that easement, and then once they get to lot 13, they could build it wherever they need to. They don't
Right.
need to follow
So-
my depiction.
Right. Yeah, I understand that.
That's just a proposed that you came up with.
Yeah, that's what I would do
Now, do
if
you
I
have
was
any,
building it.
do you have any survey note about that?
About
The driveway? going to the
driveways
house?
being up to contractor.
No, that there's an extension of the driveway through lot 12 into lot 13.
The easement is shown. It says proposed 25-foot access easement for lot 13.
Right.
And that's annotating over lot 12 for the easement. And then that all those L1, L2s, those little L's that you see on there, that's shown in the easement line table also on the plat. So it gives distances and bearings, and
Okay.
people could recreate where
Yeah.
that is.
That's this here.
Yep. So really, that's the only location that the drive has to go is in that easement, unless they choose to, make an agreement to move it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, a contractor could go in there and decide to straighten it out or have it go a different direction. It's fairly level. There is kind of an old gravel pit in the middle, so that's why I kind of have it going around that. But if they wanted to level it out and fill that, they could.
Okay.
Is that well already drilled there or?
These are proposed locations. Proposed well, proposed house, proposed mound. It is. It's just far enough off the driveway though. 10 feet requirement.
Is
for-
there a
traffic.
reason that the well is proposed there because of the proximity to the brook?
So I mean, due to a few factors, there's not a lot of room in the backfield with the septic system due to wastewater isolation requirements. And then kind of just the slope back to the brook. I couldn't really put it down there with buffer requirements for wetlands. And just ease of access for a drilling rig. It makes sense to be just off the driveway. They don't like to make a road to go get their drill rig somewhere. So I like to make them accessible.
Sure. And
And
then,
again, well
pretty-
locations are able to be moved. This is my permitted location. If they decided to move it somewhere else, that's fine as long as they meet the requirements. No, they just do a record drawing, submit it to the state if they want it signed off on.
so I see WL is drawn in here. And that is what?
It's shown in the legend as the wetland boundary. So we had a wetland specialist do a delineation of this site from the cul-de-sac down and around lot 13's proposed building area.
Okay.
Pretty extensive delineation. And aside from that, she's contacted us and is mandating that we're gonna mark that. So we're also doing other steps.
Unfortunately, there's no contour lines in this.
There are contours. It's green.
Oh.
They're shown with the contour elevation. So you'll see off to the left-hand side, the far left-hand side, there's a 690. Just to the right of that, there's a 680. Like you had said It's fairly flat, so there's not a ton of contours, but I am showing
Okay,
contours on
okay,
the
so
plan.
that, I see the numbers now. Okay. Good, thank you for pointing that out.
That's why I'm here.
And then there's electric service down to the lot 12, and that would be extended into 13?
So I actually had the electrical engineer call and contact me to let me know what his plan was,
Mm-hmm.
which I was surprised. People don't usually do that. So the plan is to extend the power vault that is up the road on Paradise Lane, extend that through lot 12 and 13. I mean, I personally, I would have looked at using the pole on lot 13, but that's a different power service and this is the path they've elected to do. But if they decide to do it the other way, they could do it the other way.
They're going through GMP or Enosburg?
That's Enosburg.
Yeah,
That's what serves that road, I believe.
yeah, so Enosburg's one they, yeah.
Yep.
So if they want the other pole, it would be
Different service. I don't
Like
recall if
GMP.
that's Velco or GMP.
Velco. Yeah, Enosburg's got a better price. and-
I think that's why they preferred
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot longer of a conduit to run, but I think that's why they preferred that route.
So I
and it's pretty
see,
responsive,
I
too.
s- I see the overhead wires in the legend. I don't see the overhead wires in the drawing.
There is an overhead power line on the south side of the map. It crosses
Oh,
the
down there.
lot 13 corner. Yes.
Oh, so
To the
that's where it would
to the
tie.
north is underground power. In the road.
They're coming from here for the Enosburg and across.
Okay,
Serve both those.
so there's no electric service to lot 2 or 3 at this time?
There are houses there. So I imagine that they do have power from the power vault that's at the road.
Extend that.
Exactly. They're going to extend from that vault, which is basically across from lot 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why
Oh,
I
yeah, because
would
that's.
have thought that there was.
That
overhead
lot
wires
6 hasn't
right
been
to-
built yet. I don't believe, or maybe they started building a garage or
Mm.
something. I'm not sure.
So,
Yeah, I've seen trucks around there. Yeah.
so you were describing a vault. Are those underground?
A vault is what I slang term for just a box that is power goes into. I'm not an electrical engineer. I don't mess
Right.
with electricity. But my understanding is, underground power goes to that vault and they do something with it.
So it's all underground power as well?
It is on that road
Oh,
to
okay.
that vault,
Well, that's good.
my understanding.
Okay. And that is not required to be shown on a drawing, given that people could dig and cut it?
It's not in the scope of our survey. If
Okay.
you wanted me to go show it, I could.
No, it's just because it's absent, I'm trying to figure out how do those
Right.
houses on those other lots get power, and you've explained it, that
Yeah,
it's because it's underground power.
Yeah, it's in the Paradis right away.
Right.
I know that much.
Okay.
They
you get a
recently
chance
have done that.
Yeah, I was able to draw it out.
Yeah. Those houses are brand new and they're.
Thank you.
Up on the other side there.
All right. And then, is there anyone here for this particular, I think we already
No?
checked, nobody? And all of the abutters were noticed?
They
for
should have
this?
been, yes, sir. I had that deliberation with Mr. Rescom.
Is that true, Brian? Very good, thank you. And, because we've heard that when you do stuff down there, there's a lot of abutters.
There's a lot of abutters everywhere when you consider the entire proximity of the lot usually. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and especially when it's a big lot
Yeah.
like this. Yeah, there's a lot of people on both roads. All right,
I
Yeah.
know, I'm pretty happy with this. Move it over to
As a final.
subdivision. As a final, yeah,
Final. I second.
with that one, removing the color maybe.
Okay. Do you want the ortho off as a condition?
well, there's two ways to do it. You could either come up with a different color for the amber or whatever you want to call that. so that it stood out more on the ortho.
Mhm.
Or you could remove, on the map rather, or you could remove the satellite imagery.
Okay,
Either way is fine. You know, it is often nice to see the satellite imagery.
You could use my pen if you. it's
No, we've
way
already
too-
asked about that and
Yeah.
he doesn't believe that that,
Older to know that that's potential to happen there. I don't know if they'll look at the Mylar, they probably won't, but. Whoever's the zoning administrator at that time, hopefully they'll know about it, and so they'll let them know about.
for the driveway,
Yeah,
to be clear.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
okay.
so I don't know if we need to make it on condition of changing it. Do you?
No.
Because I feel like, as you just described in that last comment, it's there.
Right.
It's got black ink for describing it. You can look and see it in the Mylar.
Once you know it's there,
Yes. It's not as vivid. I would just say, you know, in the future,
I understand.
look at that
Yep.
to make it easier for people to read. Because the goal of these Mylar is that they're permanent and that in the future, when all these people generation from now are sold their properties to other people, they like to have something that indicates why did they do that crazy cul-de-sac in the middle of our yard? And it's because
Yeah.
the fire department.
Yeah, we definitely see a lot of old Mylar. We just scanned for the town, like a big roll of them. So we definitely see a lot of old Mylars and
that
interesting
driveway's
choices.
Wide enough to get a fire truck through and an ambulance, I'm assuming.
It will need to be built to that standard.
And so is there any further discussion on this motion? All right. All in favor of the motion to approve the Richards D subdivision as presented to us tonight, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no or nay or Winnie. All right, so it is unanimous. So that is passed as well. And I think are you representing the Jarvis
I'm
subdivision?
gonna let Gabe handle his own project tonight.
right.
I'm gonna go home. It's been a long week, but thank you.
You gave us the original.
Oh, man, he's not
Yeah, there.
standing for you, huh?
Last time, you kind of told us what you wanted to do, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's not like this is all shot.
Thanks.
So I appreciate you, everybody tonight. Thank you so much.
sure enough.
Gabe, good luck.
Thanks for the good work.
You get any family discounts on it? Gabe?
Oh, they're two separate? Okay.
Yeah, this is an unusual property subdivision.
Are you here for this? You wanna come
And
closer?
are you as well, man?
Closer? Are you okay back there? Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. And did you have anything that you wanted to share before we get started? Okay,
You wanna see the map? Yeah.
yeah, why don't you come on up and
So this is, my name's Gabe Jarvis. This is it's all part of Jarvis Family Farm, Inc. And the goal is to separate the sugar woods from the ag. Which I personally will be purchasing the sugar woods. Boston Post Road is down the center. There's one parcel on the west is a vacant parcel. Right of ways to access. That parcel is also going through Enosburg subdivision at the same time because it's separated with a boundary line through the middle of that. And the other one is on the right side with Boston Post Road. It's on the east of Boston Post Road with road frontage on Witch Cat Road. And that is a sugar woods with an existing sugar house on it. It's all existing. I've been sugaring since '93 on this, so there's nothing's changing. It's just gonna be deeded to me instead of Jarvis Inc. Down the road once this subdivision's done.
Were those new lines you had to survey, or is that kind of?
It's all boundary line, the existing boundary I surveyed and the interior, yeah, basically follow the tree line, separated from the ag fields.
So it's easy to see the road frontage on which cat for the property that
The
is kind of,
eastern-
yeah, the eastern property. And then the frontage for the, I guess it's called lot one. Actually, no, it's
They're
lot
both
two.
lots.
Up to,
Yeah, it's lot two, which is crossing over the Enosburg Bakersfield Road. Where's the frontage for that?
There is no road frontage there.
Okay.
It's, two separate, right of ways to access that.
close to Chimney Road there, but not quite on it.
Not quite on it, and the intention for that is the farm did not want to create where their meadow is, a separate lot. So they want a contiguous to go through, so they're surrounding the woodlot essentially. They didn't want to create a separate lot where the meadow is. So I don't have actual frontage there, but I'm 50 feet off with a right of way to get to it.
So the right of ways, there's one, is that one off of Boston Post Road?
Correct.
And that's one's in Enosburg. Is there any in Bakersfield?
There's none in Bakersfield, no. The right of way that comes off Chimney Road does extend up the length of the boundary line to the town line though.
And who, is it the Tyler and Samantha Robtoy that are giving the right of way?
No, it's Jarvis Family Farm Inc.
Well, that's
That's the land
also,
there,
so
that's
the
where-
right of way is actually going through that property. Okay, which is called Lot One Jarvis Family Farm, okay. As opposed to going through I guess what would be the Tyler Samantha Robtoy, which is not completely shown there. It's just the boundary and the
Right.
driveway and
So how do these connect together?
they don't.
They don't.
They don't,
No.
it's two separate maps. They do, the Boston Post Road it's the same, they does overlay. But they are separated by Boston Post, so it creates two separate maps, essentially that subdivides the parcel. It's all the same deeded Jarvis Farms Inc., the same area.
And all your butters were notified because you got like 100 of them.
Correct, yeah, Brian helped with that.
Where is this on Which Cat Road?
So it's right off of Boston Post Road. It's one of the first ones, right
Oh,
below,
okay.
below the farm. The sugar house is right there. It's the first driveway on that end.
Because I have family down there and I don't want to have
Hmm.
to, you're far enough away from them.
You know where it is, right? Can you picture where?
Yeah, like at the very, very
Right,
end.
which cat meets Boston Post Road, yeah.
So the real reason that this is two separate drawings is not just that they're not contiguous to one another, but that you want to buy them all at one time too. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. Instead of
So
doing this.
what
one-
you're showing here is what would be used with the bank or whomever you're getting financing from, if that's necessary.
Correct.
And then it would go into the town records as essentially all one owner, despite being two properties that are close, but not really.
Yeah,
connected.
if it's closed at the same time, I guess that's an attorney question. It'd probably be two separate deeds, I think.
Yeah, it's almost like it
Or
would,
it may do one deed and then refer two separate maps. I don't know.
and that could be of benefit to you in that you could have each property considered separately so that they could be sold separately, but you can always subdivide. So,
Oh, they
it's
are,
just-
they will be set. I mean, it's two properties. It's not-
yeah,
it-
yeah,
so it-
yeah.
I could
What I'm
sub-
saying is that yeah. This is kind of weird to have two properties considered simultaneously that are not all one continuous property.
It is a little bit, but
I think one of the big things that we consider is in order for him to make those continuous lots, we would have to give up some very strong.
that's exactly right.
Which I hope to believe is requirement that's like.
Layden, I'd love a lot more road frontage and connect it, but
Brothers,
so you're not gonna give up. Not gonna give any. So that's, yeah.
So is this how it would kind of go? If
Yeah,
I were
kinda.
to tape it together?
Yep.
Like that? Cause there's the barn overlaid.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
But that's why I'm saying it's just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
weird. We really never had this kind of. Now, I don't want to get into your business too much, because
Mhm.
some people don't need to go to a bank to do these sort of transactions. But have you, if you do go to a bank, they might have some concerns about it. If you don't have to go to the bank, then there's nobody that's really worried about it but yourself. And anybody else that's a partner to you. The reason we talk about that is that we think about, as I said in the last hearing, that you own it now,
Mhm.
but things change in your life and you might make a decision about you want to sell one or a part of one or both of them. And then the next person that comes around, they do go to a bank to get a loan. And the bank says, this is the craziest looking property we've ever made purchase of. And some parts of it are difficult for other purposes. It makes a lot of sense when you're talking about sugar woods, but if somebody came in and they wanted to do some other kind of development, they don't have any road frontage, for example, on the
Mhm.
one piece of property that you've got described here, which crosses over between Enosburg and Bakersfield. And
So this is ag. It's all ag. It's not gonna be developed. I get what you're saying, but if this property was presented to someone, it's a Sugar Woods. I don't think anyone's gonna say, okay, there's 8,000 taps there. I don't like the shape of it. And the bank's not gonna say that. They're gonna look at the value of it and the return on it.
Yeah.
So, and I have done other surveys in Enosburg, the same way.
mm,
The old Pat Hayes farm, that was a land trust thing, so it went through many, many, many steps, and that one's, believe me, I wish I could square it up and buy the meadows, as Brian was
Right,
saying, but I just can't, and that this is back when my father was alive, this is what was agreed on with the brothers and everyone.
Sure.
This has been going on since 2018, I've had these drafted up, and we've had several meetings, other than not liking the shape of it, I mean, I feel like we've met all the requirements.
No, I-
Have to go through Enosburg for that little section too, or?
Yes, they had their first meeting and it went off, and there's no questions, so. Michael's actually doing that part of it.
and I don't think that we really have any concerns about it either. We're just, I'm just
That-
sharing
I know
other perspectives.
as a land surveyor, 'cause I do that some. I don't like to go survey a lot that looks like this, to be honest. I like neat, like square, 4 corners, okay, let's do it, but this is what, I'm presented with, and it's all ledge and
Yeah.
in Maplewood, so it's not a development.
So is this, this is not a final? Because this
It's
is,
not because I'm not sure because of Enosburg. I don't know how I could do a final on, I mean, I guess I could on the Sugar House side. I'm
You're not-
Everything's been agreed on. Yeah, there's nothing that's gonna change unless Enosburg has an issue, which they didn't at their first meeting.
No, I think
I don't,
that
I
the-
don't have a Mylar with me, no.
Yeah, so that's one element
Yeah.
of it is the Mylar is needed for a final. The second is that you need some sort of, I guess you need a decision in Enosburg too, right? Or has that been granted already?
I'll have to talk to Michael because he went to that. I believe there's
Mm.
another meeting.
Oh, okay,
I don't think they had their final. I think they just had a preliminary.
okay.
Maybe they had their second, but I think, or maybe they put two together, but I'm pretty sure there's one more meeting. for
Okay,
that.
that's fine. So what we could do, I think that we're all, this is the second time we've discussed this and seen it. And I shouldn't speak for everybody. I'll just say that I don't really have any qualms about it. But I think if you want a final, we'll need a Mylar.
Oh, I can make a Mylar tomorrow. I just didn't want to.
Right,
it
and
known.
then I think the other is that we want to know that it was approved in Enosburg too. If we're going to
So-
consider both of them together. If you want to
It
just
has-
consider the one that's all in Bakersfield, we
A
could.
question I have, I guess, because I've never done a survey in both.
Yeah.
What if Enosburg says the same thing?
Right, I wanna hear from you.
Who's gonna make the first move and approve it? So why do you have to be, I guess what I'm saying is why does it have to be contingent? We can record a map in Bakersfield.
Right,
And then if they change their mind, then I would just have to do a revision of the map and submit another map here.
right.
But Enosburg had no questions or concern.
Only question I would have is because on the Enosburg Bakersfield one, there's the only access is through Enosburg, so
Mhm.
if Berg said no for whatever
Right.
reason. Or Bakersfield would be landlocked there, but no.
You'd have to propose a new access.
Correct. And I don't know that I could through the farm there. But I mean, they're,
So the easement that comes off of Boston Post Road there,
mhm,
that's the only one off of Boston Post Road?
correct.
Hmm,
That's lot 1 or 2?
That's two.
Lot 2.
It's easement for lot 2 over lot 1.
mhm. Yeah, it is kind of weird that both right of ways, easement or slash easement for access to the property are in Enosburg.
It's totally legal though, and it's not on a.
Oh, yeah, we've had some,
This
we've
one
had
does-
Fairfield and
The
Bakersfield.
biggest thing is the width of the right of ways. If it was a 20-foot right of way, maybe an issue, but a 50-foot is what most towns require if there ever had to be a road built or any type of. Yeah, like you said, what if somebody else bought it and they did want to build a house up here? That 50-foot gives them all the legal access and
Mhm.
rights of way that they would need in the future.
So the road frontage on lot 1 for Bakersfield side is how much? Sorry.
It's where the sugar house is there.
On the, where the sugar house is, so there's two separate ones.
So
That's,
right up here,
500,
Sugar house.
541
Okay.
feet.
it's such a really big piece of property that little stretch on Boston Post Road or Witch Cat Road provides the frontage.
And that's the enough fronted, right?
275 feet is what's required.
Plenty there.
So both have the same road frontage?
No.
Or just
The
one?
lot we were talking about, that's on the west side, where Chimney Road is, it is the one in Enosburg and Bakersfield has no road frontage, only right of way access.
And you're subdividing both of these off?
Correct.
So would this be landlocked? One of them would be landlocked?
That's what we were discussing, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not, it is landlocked as far as road frontage, but it has two accesses,
Okay,
proposed
Yeah.
accesses,
okay.
legal 50-foot wide.
And would those, for that right of way and easement, the right of way off of Chimney Road and the easement off of Boston Post Road, would they be recorded in the deed?
Yeah, so the deed will, if they're not recorded, the map will be referenced in the deed, so in a sense, it will be recorded.
Okay.
It's all will be, yeah, because I'm not gonna buy land.
Well, we've had families come in here and they don't like each other.
There's a
So
lot of
just-
issues in surveying, that's why I don't do a lot on my own with
Hmm.
landlocked parcels or someone said you could use an access and they don't, so yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
where you're going with that. I'm
Right,
sure
you
you've
always
heard.
wanna have something that gives you the right in perpetuity.
Correct.
Yeah.
So just so I understand, I'm so sorry.
No,
Not a problem.
this is a
This is what it's for.
complicated,
So I'm seeing this is the right of way, or the road here, road frontage. This is lot 2,
For the
right?
sugar house, yep.
But what about the road frontage for lot 1?
there is none.
No.
Okay, so lot 1, I had it backwards then. Lot 1, this one is the one that's landlocked.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's access through right of ways off of Boston Post Road. Both accesses are in Enosburg. One is off of Chimney Road, the end of the town road. And the other one is right off of Boston Post Road.
And you have said that you don't know right now if they've approved those entries?
They have, it's past the first meeting with no questions.
Can we make it contingent on?
So he addressed that. He doesn't want Bakersfield to be contingent on Enosburg and then Enosburg be contingent on Bakersfield. Because then they're not gonna get past either one. So one of us, either Enosburg or Bakersfield, has to make a decision that says that it's acceptable as is.
We can't say it's acceptable as long as Enosburg gives them the right of way. This would be approved. That's the only condition.
Right,
I
that's,
would-
I guess would be the,
Yeah, we could make it a vote with the condition that Enosburg gives approval to lot 2 and those 2 access points, one an easement, the other a right of way.
Do you have any comments from the public there?
Just wasn't sure what it was all about, what it was. I'm Steve Harrison.
Oh, hi, Steve. I talked to you on the phone before.
So I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, what was going on? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's what, yeah, it's fine. That's what these are for, yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, that is.
I'm gonna move that we accept this with that one contingent that Enosburg comes through with their, yes, also. Was that clear enough for?
actually, I was thinking that rather than it be on the condition that Enosburg says yes to the proposal, that it's on condition that Enosburg grants the easement off of Boston Post Road and the right of way off of Chimney Road. Because that makes it so that it's not tied to their decision. We're saying, yes, we just need to make sure those 2 things are a part of their decision,
Okay.
whatever it is. You're
I
okay with,
second, yeah,
you're okay with the way I
Yes.
was describing the wording? And does that sound appropriate
That
to
sounds-
you as well? All right. So we've got a motion to accept this as a, we'll call this a final sketch. We'll sign a Mylar when brought in.
Okay.
You can reach out here to the town clerk
Mhm.
to contact Ken or I, and we'll come and sign it,
Okay.
one of us. And then it'll be officially recorded.
Great.
And so it was be to accept this final sketch plan on the condition that Enosburg grants easement off of Boston Post Road and right away off of Chimney Road.
yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. I said aye, I'm sorry, didn't say it. I should have, I was listening for, so there's 3-0 approving. All right, so you can go back to Enosburg and say, we're okay,
Sure.
but we do want to we need that, those two, that right of way off the chimney and the easement off of Boston Post are incorporated into their final decision.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck with that.
Yeah, get back there now.
Yeah, I hope that the tariffs aren't creating a problem for you all.
We'll see, it's supposed to freeze tonight, but maybe it won't.
All right, I got
Hey,
a
sir.
drawing.
Could run all night or it could
B,
freeze up.
and I got a drawing of this. And then I need a drawing of take care. The first one. Do we have a drawing of the first one?
This one?
No, it's the
Yeah, there
simple
was.
fixed
Big-
area
there was
allocation.
Big maps came with that. too.
Did he take them both? He
one
gave,
to Granger.
he gave,
Do
I
you
think
still
he
have-
took them both.
He took them both.
Oh, huh.
So we don't have a drawing of
He just
that.
left the Mylar.
We do have the Mylar. There's no way to get a copy of that.
You want a copy of them? Of the Mylar, or
Well, I don't know how we can make a copy of that. That's huge.
it's pretty big?
Probably gone, right? Christian.
You want to take a look and see? I doubt he's still there.
Yeah, he
Um,
said he was going home. Said he had and
Well, unlike everybody else, he thought he was very tired and that he'd been working long. We don't do that.
No.
Hey, maybe Brian's got one. Does Brian have a copy?
No.
Maybe he's in his zoning administrator role?
Thanks.
So no. And then you do the files, right? Can I bring these back next time? Cause I'm gonna need
Yeah.
all this to write up these minutes. I think what we'll wanna do is contact Mr. Jablonski and ask him to drop off.
Yeah, I asked Brian to do that. He said he would.
Okay, great. All right, so if we can get that, then we can make 3 files, because that's essentially what they are, is 3 separate files. These are 3 separate hearings.
Right.
And then, we'll need a Sharpie for those 2, but let's act on the minutes here.
Yeah.
And then we can see about the next meeting, and we can also talk about, membership. So first of all, the minutes, I gave you each a copy. And this was as originally written, with the difference that on second paragraph, I wrote that one was for the Gabe Jarvis property and the second for the Granger Heinlein property. And then in the back page, it starts actually at the bottom. Brian Wescombe brought updates, and there was conditional use exemption. And then he also introduced Yablonsky Jarvis Associates for the Granger Heinlein property on Paradise Lane, and another for Gabe Jarvis property on multiple roads at the northern border, Bakersfield and Eastburg. So I had those switched.
You're still, not quite right here, because the Granger Heinlein property is the one that's on Witchcat Road. That was the fixed area allocation.
That's which cat?
And, the Richards / B subdivision was the one on Paradise Lane.
So
There was 3 actually, so there was.
I don't even remember the third one being here last time.
Yeah, it was.
Because that's why I don't remember seeing that, or was that at a meeting before?
I remember because we talked about, we wanted Matt to approve it, Matt Hall to approve it, so we did talk about it.
No, I was talking about the fixed area allocation.
Oh, yeah, he
I
brought
don't-
that one up too.
Okay, so that was all a part of a problem which I actually kind of wanted to talk about here too, and that is not having a formal hearing, but just have this informational meeting because it wasn't warned. It kind of created a bit of
Yeah, it wasn't quite.
confusion.
Right.
All right, so to fix this, then it has to be, so the Jarvis property is correct. It's that the Paradise Lane is actually Richards. So Granger Heinlein is, actually should be Richards. And so then there was a third,
Yeah, the Granger Heinlein was the third one, or,
and that is the fixed area allocation.
yeah.
And third, and so I'm gonna have to take these back and revise them for next time.
Sounds like it.
And there's also not a hyphen between Granger and Heinlein.
Right.
I'll take that out. It's just a. Okay. All right. So we can't approve the minutes. I apologize.
No, fine.
It was pretty complicated meeting both last month and this month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot,
Um,
a lot. We're
And
not
that,
used
that
to
was,
it.
that was what I was thinking is, rather than bring a bunch of them all at once, it's easier for us to do
Schedule 'em.
one or two,
Mhm.
or even one and over 3 different nights,
Mm,
as opposed to just pounding us with them. But I guess sometimes that's the way it goes. So maybe
Yeah.
we can't be too picky.
it depends on-
And he did appear to be that night in particular.
Well, I think it was sort of caught us off guard a little bit too, because we. A lot of information you threw at us there.
Yeah, and it was better tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so membership and the MPG, I'll start with the municipal planning grant. So I came to the select board meeting Monday
Mhm.
and they approved the application for the municipal planning grant for something around $20,000. We'll pay 10%, and it,
Out of our budget or?
yeah, and we have enough in our budget to, we have 8,000 in the our budget
Mhm.
or our
So we have
balance.
cookies even.
Well, yeah, and so that would be another part of it. So if you remember that application that Northwest Regional Planning Commission brought, they said that they would publicize, they would market, they would, and I think we will, when we want to get people here, have food.
Beer, people will come out for beer.
We can't do that.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
will,
think
it
I
will,
but I know
right,
the town would do.
right. But
I'd come out.
Sounds
yes,
like I'll show up.
we'll
then.
have to say cookies and milk.
Cookies.
Milk and cookies. But, so that is that. And so we have the support of the select board. Northwest Regional Planning Commission is going to do the application. They'll be helping us. Once I hear that it's approved, then we can start to work with them.
Mhm.
We'll have to make a decision as to how we're gonna do it. We were talking about having separate meetings. We could have separate meetings. So let's say, for example, we have these scheduled meetings
Yeah.
and we meet because there's nothing else happening, we just do it then.
Mhm.
But then if we had, like this one, multiple
Right.
permit applications, then we might say, okay, we need to have a separate meeting.
Right.
Does that sound
Yes.
Yeah.
reasonable? Because I'd like to keep kind of what we're
Mhm.
doing as opposed to another meeting. Because frankly, I'm running out of nights
Not right now. I
of
know.
Yeah.
the month to have meetings.
If-
Okay,
Do we know how we're splitting it up? Like, if we look at the sections, would it be feasible to say, try and do two sections in one meeting? There's 11, so that would make like 5 or 6 meetings. You know, so like maybe the first meeting, we can announce, whoever's gonna announce it says we're gonna cover the authority and purpose, the administration and enforcement. Does that make sense? So.
Yeah,
people
I
know.
generally, that's how we did it.
Yeah,
I think that what we'll probably end up doing is having a meeting with Emily where
mhm,
she'll lay it out, because it might be the way she wants to do it is not chapter 1 and 2,
correct, yeah.
but maybe specific chapters that are going to be kind of in need of special information.
Mhm.
But I can ask her when,
And if it's in the summertime, we could have like ice cream social, you know.
it's gonna take us through, if you don't mind putting a signature there and name, it's gonna take us both summer and fall.
Oh, good. So we could do like a strawberry shortcake social and, you know, cause cookies and milk, you know.
I was
are
just
good.
joking about that.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but you know, like if we did like a strawberry shortcake social, that would get.
I gotta tell you, if it comes to that sort of thing, if you're interested in it, you can manage that.
happen.
Do it.
I
Go
don't
to
Because I-
Bakersfield.
They'll supposed to have town meeting, just to let people know that we're gonna be doing the town plan, so hopefully that'll maybe
Mhm.
bring some interest.
Um,
I
yeah,
know
be-
last time we did not get a lot of feedback from.
no,
Yeah,
and
it's-
people were really frustrated about the laws, but they.
I don't, you know what, I do not think that there's any evidence that people were frustrated with a lot of the laws. I have never heard
Yeah,
a lot of people talking
Mhm.
about our bylaws.
Yeah, well, they were
The
approving,
only-
and the town voted to approve them. so
Yeah.
Right.
most people
yeah.
Fine with it.
So I do know that we've had one person,
Hmm.
Ms. McGraw, come in and talk about some issues that she has, and those are good.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more people do that,
Mhm.
but I don't think that there was
I think the
any
grumbling is
dissatisfaction.
just in general, having laws at all.
Now that's beyond us. And frankly, yeah, it's,
My agenda get end up in this pile.
it could be. Did you write, did you put the signatures on the back of
No,
your
I didn't.
agenda?
That was an extra one. I think I might have.
Here's an agenda. If
I
you need
probably-
one.
I have one that's kind of noted up there.
Okay.
I might have added it to your file there.
Okay. So
There it
anyway,
is.
okay, you got it. Good. So, the next thing is, we gotta get some more people, because I think more members is better.
You were
and-
allowed like up to, isn't, on this committee is 9, I
Is it
think.
9?
I have to
I-
look it up.
But right now,
again.
we have interest from 2 people, it sounds like,
And-
Gary Foot and Sharon Lawyer.
And Nikki's still on it.
Right,
Uh-huh.
so that's gonna give us 6, which is not. ideal.
Well, I don't even know if Sharon was was specifically interested in being a member, or that she wants to participate in the town plan revision. She definitely wants that.
Okay.
What about Linda McCall? I was supposed to call her, I think.
Well,
but-
she's never said that she's interested. I don't know if
might
she
be
was at
good to
town
have a
meeting,
Member of the public that has ideas and
Mhm.
brings them to
Yeah.
us. I mean,
and hopefully she'll come. So,
I think she
I
will.
think
She's-
now with it, with having the different resources, like the town website is nice, you know, so people can, you know, share it out. I can share it to my Facebook feed, you know, and to the town of Bakersfield's unofficial, you know, come out to these things, you know, like.
Like that guy that shook our hands, but he was like, yeah, I'd like to come to more of these. Good.
We would love for you. to know.
right, is all this extra? I want to take away the extra, recycle it. You have any extra? You want to keep that?
These are different, for different things, but
We-
yeah, these are mine.
Do we need to contact the select board to appoint, say, Gary, or is that?
I think that the
Gary's-
select board has to do the
Yeah.
appointment. We don't just say, hey, and,
I'll-
so,
If we
Yeah.
did, we'd have a lot more members right now. Just volunteer
I
everybody.
can call, like, I'll I don't know, what do I gotta just call Josh or?
I think Josh is the chair again,
Alright.
so they voted him in
Yeah.
Monday night.
So if Kathy Westcomb.
If you wanna contact Josh and ask if,
Alright. Does Kathy set the agenda for them, do you know, or? Kathy
Yes,
Westcomb, or
I'm pretty-
Tammy, or,
actually,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, maybe Tammy. I'll contact Tammy first. and-
Okay. And then,
Do we want to?
I would say ask him to appoint Gary.
Gary's definitely interested.
We need to ask Sharon again. We need to clarify. I asked her if she could come to this meeting and she couldn't. So, but I did tell her the next one was in April. So, maybe we can get her to come back and then we could appoint her later. I do not think we should ask for her to be appointed
Right.
without her
Right.
expressly
I
saying.
think
Sounds like Gary has expressly said
he-
he's
yeah, He
interested.
really wants to be back. on
Okay.
board.
So
Which I think is great.
Gary,
Gary was good to have, especially
Very
oh yeah,
when we were doing the town plan last time, he had some
Yeah.
fan ideas.
Mhm.
Although he did propose keeping that fixed area allocation last time, which I really don't think we should do anymore. It's just a loophole.
it gives, like in this particular case, somebody with a big sugar woods the opportunity to take what's supposed to be rural, which is the sugar woods, and make it into what is kind of like residential or even high density residential
Mhm.
in an area that is normally conservation or rural. And so I guess we should debate that when it comes.
I think that's something to take up with Northwest too, and because I remember we did have a lot of discussion last time about that, and Northwest said there's not many towns that have that kind of
No,
thing in their plan. But we ended up keeping it for, Gary had kind of a legitimate argument for it, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was now.
all right, if you're gonna talk to Tammy about Gary, I will reach out to Sharon, probably through Lance, because I think I have his email. Or I might be able to get Sharon. Do you have Sharon's email?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No. She's on Facebook though. I could get it and send it to you if you. or I can reach out to
Yeah,
her.
I don't do Facebook. So if you wanted to
Mm.
get it from her,
Okay.
then that'd be great.
Did you want me to reach out to Linda? still?
So I think you're free to ask her if she wants to be a member, obviously, that's your right. But I also like the idea that it's nice to have somebody that attends that's not a member
Mhm.
when we're doing the bylaw revision. Because if it's all us,
Yeah.
then it just feels like we didn't get public participation again. We
Right.
just got members of the commission.
Well, I know
And-
my husband will be coming because I'll make him. I'll have to promise.
Cookies.
Strawberry
Strawberry
cookies. Be like, I hate strawberries. I'm like, oh.
Same.
All right, so the next meeting is April. And if I recall,
It's not on Easter, is it?
no,
Nice,
it's
later.
very close to the first. No, so the first is Tuesday, so it would be April 7th. And does anybody have any problems with April 7th?
No.
Okay, so the next is April 7th. And at same time. And that's our agenda.
Yeah, I move we adjourn.
Okay,
A second.
so Ken. Motion to adjourn. Heather, second. Any further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0, we are adjourned. Great. Thanks,
Yeah.
for all that we did. We got 3 done in 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think.
You wanna end that recording, Heather?
Oh,
Oh,
shoot.
yeah.
yes. Thank you.